Today we said it's a day for senators.
Senator Day.
It's Senator Day. Second senator joining us for the first time in the Situation Room is Senator Tabitha Mutinda Munene. She's a nominated senator and she serves in several committees. She's the vice chairperson of the Budget Committee of Senate. Senator, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Kenya's biggest conversation.
Thank you.
The hot seat of the Situation Room. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Is it feeling warm enough? You know, Senator Wamatinga was there before. Big engine, big tractors.
And energy.
And energy.
You know?
Literally.
It's still warm.
It's still warm.
Yes.
Very
yes.
good.
Yeah.
To welcome you to the show and to have the conversation, this man called C.T. Muga gives us a day's proverb every day.
Yes, our proverbs for the whole of this week and our weekends on Friday from the country of Burkina Faso, formerly previously known as Upper Volta. Okay? Named it
Was there a lower Volta?
You don't worry.
Chief.
It was
They
just
were Upper Volta.
there's a Volta and then there's the upper
Just
Volta.
do
They've decided that they were upper.
Volta River. It existed then, it exists now.
It was
Okay?
actually above the river. The
Yes.
Volta was the river.
Is a river.
Yeah.
And this country is above that.
Yes, it's
Exactly.
up. Now, don't ask me how you determine up or down. That's
Don't
not
even worry
important.
about it.
It's Upper Volta. And now it's Burkina Faso. That's it.
It's like lower Karen.
That's it.
Okay.
Or Karen B.
Okay.
Do not worry about it. It's still Karen.
Okay.
Tuko sawa?
Tuko sawa.
That was tuendelee. If you haven't been to two marketplaces, you don't know which the best value is or what the best value is.
If you haven't been to two marketplaces,
Yes.
you'll never know what the best value is.
Yes.
Senator, what's your interpretation of that proverb?
It's until you have a feel of different environments, different products, different service providers, and then you'll be able to measure the efficiency, the satisfaction of actually what you're looking for. It's practicability element that gives you the satisfaction element of it.
How is that interpretation, City?
It's a delight.
Out of 10.
A scale of 1 to 10.
Yes.
Usually, when you surpass the mark, we give you 11 out of 10.
City ni mwalimu.
You can carry this one for the next
Go
exam.
for the next exam. You're already ahead in what you will do in the future. Wow.
So if they give you 3 in the other exam, you've carried one.
You
had
are 4. Yes.
Definitely Wednesday.
Bakshishi.
Yes.
Hii ni ya kubeba.
Yes.
Senator, you are nominated to the Senate.
Correct.
By which political party?
By the government party, UDA.
You say that with so much pride.
But
Party.
no, for a moment, when I heard government, I was thinking, which party is that?
Government Party of Kenya.
Kenya, yes.
Yes.
We have Farmers Party of Kenya, People's Party. Now we have
Communist
government.
Party.
Yeah, now we have Government Party of Kenya. Okay.
Nice stuff.
The ruling party,
Okay.
UDA.
UDA.
Right.
Yeah.
And of course, you had been on the list even before the elections, which
Correct.
means you are very active in the political party affairs and all, even before the elections.
Very true.
What attracted you to the party?
Actually, my interest was the Nairobi Women Rep in the 2022 elections. And then this particular time, as a new entrant into politics, I had to weigh which party do we move with, which party is really having the accommodation for us as the new members. And I settled for UD at that particular time. And then as we walked the journey, and then Nairobi being a cosmopolitan, we did a sitting, we did an understanding on table, and we settled for candidates. Like for governor, we settled for Sakaja, for women rep, and for senator. We actually settled. And it's at this particular time that the president, then the candidate, and the party leader as well, agreed and gave me the senator position or seat. But still, after that, I was assigned at the command center for UDA, which was based in Westlands by then. That is where we were able to do all the monitoring all the different countries, but I was in charge of Nairobi, and so we had different people from all the 47 counties. We looked at all the narrative issues. We followed the social media. We listened to what did the people really need and how to actualize the bottom up manifesto to bring it for the people to understand. And also we managed the economic forums, whereby we focused on in the engagement with the people, and the president was able to engage with the people because different regions had different issues. What was this that was being brought out? What was this that was really common? What was the common solution? How do we go about it? What do we offer? And hence the results of the things like the hustler funds at that particular time were actually brought out. And then up to the point that we finalized the work at Bomas of Kenya. Remember all the fracas? I was actually still there, sleepless nights, looking and verifying everything until the end. And then now we had to wait and see our numbers going to be reached at, because it's politics, and I kept on moving from this number to this number. In the Gazette I was first in number 6, and then oops, you're here at least, and you're like really? But let me tell you, realize if God has said that you're going to be there, nobody can interfere with that. And finally the list was out, and I was
What number
there,
were you on the?
I was number 8, the final number. I was number 8
On the UDA
on
list.
the UDA list, and I was actually the cutoff. I was the cutoff. Yeah.
Now that you are a senator, this function that you had, is it still ongoing, or did you lay it to rest once UDA had taken up its current position?
No. And no, because it is usually a continuous process. It is usually a continuous engagement. It's only that on a different platform. Like right now, as a member of parliament, how I'm dealing with issues or looking at them now, it's a bit more advanced, unlike now where we used to sit, because at that particular time we were preparing for the voting, and this has taken place, and now here we are still engaging, because at where we are also getting to listen, and there's a lot of question in regards to really bottom up. Really, there's that question that was it really what we talked about? And we are trying to communicate that this is what we meant, this is what we talked about. It's only that definitely in politics, as we have our opponents on the other side, one key thing that made us be on this table today was our narrative, and there's a lot of question around it. And so I'm saying it's a continuous process, because we have to continue keeping on talking to our people and making them understand and appreciate. And as I've had Eric talk about the 50 Bob, 50 when he was taking
50,000
the
Bob.
50, yes. But he's still saying whatever you have, go put it, and then it will earn interest. He's encouraging in terms of savings. He's encouraging in terms of what can you do with whatever you have. How can you actually multiply it and all that. Yeah. So it's a continuous process.
Now you are the vice chair of the budget committee.
Correct.
Do you have in finance background? What were you doing before you decided, okay, you know what now, Tabitha, let's get into politics? How about we run for Senator of Nairobi? What were you doing before this?
I still do.
What is that?
I'm an entrepreneur. I'm in manufacturing business. I manufacture the non-woven bags, the bags that replace plastic bags. But my main brand or component is the biodegradable bags. These are bags that are made from cassava starch, that when you put in water, they dissolve 100%, they biodegrade, form nutrients to the soil. That is my...
Just wait. So if it rains on it?
It dissolves in hot water, not cold water.
Usiende nayo Mombasa.
So I am an entrepreneur.
Okay.
I'm also a student. I'm doing my PhD right now, and I've done Masters in International Business. So I'm a vast in the line of the business management concept. And when the party or when in Parliament we are assigned to committees, it's not sometimes really based on what is really 100% your background, but a percentage of it, like at least more than the 50% of it, like what is your area. I actually found myself in finance. My interest was actually agriculture because I have an agricultural bill, but I actually found myself in the finance budget committee and also as a vice chair, and I'm appreciating, and we are able to run on. My chair is a very good chair. He's been governor 2 terms, Governor Mandera, that is Governor Senator Ali Roba, and I also have a very good team membership. Why am I acknowledging this? Because I'm a new member, and I believe in learning and getting to understand how things are supposed to be done, because in that way then you are able to deliver results. And the other committee members have been veterans in the house. We are able to work with them very, very well. Matters finance and budget. One of the other members are some like Dr. Boni Halwale. We have also Senator Faki. We also have Senator Eddie, who's also a very vast matters finance. And I'm having a very good team that we are moving together as far as the mandate of the Finance and Budget Committee is concerned.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, one issue that is taking center stage right now is the allocation of finances and resources to the counties.
Correct.
Right? And I mean, you mentioned it is taking bulk of the time and space. And you talk about then having an understanding or learning knowledge of what is going on, excuse me, in the House and then as per the counties. So what is actually going on right now when it comes to the allocation of resources to the counties?
I sit in another committee called CPIC, that is the investment, county investment committees, which looks at also different funds from the counties. And why am I mentioning that is because apparently these 2 committees that I sit interrelate. And in both committees, we've had privileges of someone in the CS, National Treasury. Also the PS, National Treasury, Chris. And personally, I've been able to ask on the issue of the timeline for disbursement of the funds in the last quarter, that is from January up to April. And the common feedback that has been brought by both the PS and the CS was that by 15th of April, the funds would have been disbursed. Apparently, that has not happened. And it is really affecting counties very, very much, because my committee and this other committee that I also sit in are committees that matters finance, matters monetary. That is what we really deliberate on so much. And now, as we speak, we've already written letters to the clerk, to someone again, the CS, to be able to respond on what he truly confirmed, that by 15th of this month, which was today is 19th, so 4 days ago, Friday, that counties will have received their last quarter. That has not happened. It's really affecting. It's really saddening, because people also, the staff that are working there, they are also having challenges. This is making the county governments to go extra mile and start doing the borrowing to be able to manage their bills, their salaries, wages, all the current expenditures in place. So this delay is really affecting. And the promise that the CS had made, he has not accomplished it, which now brings us to, like, then why? Because that is what he categorically stated. And yes, he apologized and said, yes, we've had delays, but we promised by this time we will have dispersed these funds to the counties. So far, what had been dispersed in the first that amount that had been disbursed for the 2022-2023 up to December was amounting to 183.15 billion, which is about 49.5, around 50%. So there's an outstanding of about 125.8 billion that is yet to be disbursed to the counties.
With only 2 months to the end of the financial year.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a promise that was made for the 15th of April.
Yes.
I wonder, as he was summoned or he was asked these questions, Was there an asking of the reason as to why there was a delay for, however many months? And did he give that? And what was it?
Yes, there was a response, and the response was as far as the budget, the debt is concerned. They have prioritized the debt because now also, without paying the debt, then we are not able to have an opportunity to borrow, and also our credibility level will go down. So there is that priority of debt repayment that has also affected this. We've also, in our deliberations, we also have opportunities to be able to sit with the CRA and the feedback and what we are also waiting from CRA in detail is also on an area that we also want to focus as finance, the area of on-source revenue. There's a very big opportunities, especially for Nairobi, Nakuru, Mombasa, to be able to really collect a bigger percentage, close to 70-80% on-source revenue that they can be able to use and manage. But what is happening that the collection percentage is at a very minimal, it's very low. But if they would be able also to concentrate, this money that they are waiting from the national government should not be a challenge. It should be actually additional, should be able to make them do much more projects, and like just waiting for this particular amount of disbursement so that they can be able to run their activities.
You're a business person.
Yes, I am.
Now, if you talk about the capacity of these counties, that the assumed projected capacities for revenue collection, are you saying that they do not collect the monies that they can actually collect? Or are you saying that what is documented as having been collected is what doesn't meet the capacity that we assume the counties have? What I'm stipulating is this. Is it a collection issue, or is it that even if the monies are collected, because we go by what it is they document as having been collected, or is it that what they document as having been collected is what is low, meaning there is that possibility that a lot more is collected, it just doesn't get to where it's supposed to get?
No, it's that there's more that they can collect that they are not collecting. I can only discuss what the auditors bring on table and what CRA brings on table as factual by saying that this is the amount with statistics and with analysis. This is the figure. What we've been able to discuss at this particular time is what they can be able to collect at this. This is the percent. This is equivalent to this amount, an amount which is able to make them sustain their expenditures and sustain their projects moving forward. But in regards to maybe the figures, I can only discuss that looking at the facts that will have been also analyzed by the auditors. But what is coming out very key to note is that there's a bigger opportunity to collect more, but that is not happening. So the CS came to the Senate. And he said that one of the reasons why they are delaying in disbursing funds is because of payment of debt. Now, obviously, according even to the Public Finance Management Act, the first charge is debt repayment, and then now we go into other things, salaries and the rest. Salaries being the second. The CS did not say that they have a problem that all the money they are collecting is going to pay debt. No.
They are collecting money, it's going to pay debt, and then they are left with money which is running other affairs at the national level. The Senate is there to promote, to champion, to safeguard devolution.
Correct.
So in the mind of the Senate, the second thing that should happen after you've paid debt is take money to the devolved units.
Correct.
So that the people can get the services that they ought to be getting. Correct. And there are also staff employed at the devolved units. So when a CS comes and says, because of all these challenges, we are paying debt, this and the other, what do you push back with as a Senate? What's your response?
One, let me appreciate what you note, and truly I second it, because our key mandate is to support counties, is to support devolution. And we've told National Treasury that they will not be the ones to kill devolution. That will happen if they do not do what the law mandates, the constitution mandates, for them to give counties their 15%. It is one thing to give, it is one also thing to give it timely. Because with that timely disbursement, we have quite a number of challenges that pile up. Delayed payments of suppliers, delayed recurrent expenditures, and many others. Even losses, because they're going to incur high interest of the borrowings that they've been able to do. We also note that National Treasury is focusing on the national government through the ministries, like, for example, the Ministry of Agriculture. You'll find that they get their funds, yet agriculture is a devolved function. And same case to health issues as well. And these are matters that, that's why I've said when I started, that we've again summoned. And I'm happy because I sit in both committees which actually interrelate so well that we meet with the National Treasury on both sides. And the common question is, why are they not doing it timely? I cannot say that there are no funds, because national government has been able to get their allocations. National government staff have been able, even us, we've been able to receive our salaries. If now we've been able to be paid, and national government has been, the MTDS have been able to get their funds, then why not the county governments? That is a question that we are raising to the National Treasury CS, which by next week, when we still summon him, we need factual answers as to why he's not doing it on time. We saw some time back the governors through the COG came together and raised the same concern. And we are feeling in Senate, National Treasury is like, playing a cat and mouse to start really lowering the speed of county government operations. And our mandate to oversight the county government and to support devolution, we're really supporting that counties should get their monies, their funds on time. Why then not decide we are not going to give funds to the ministries and first give to the county governments? Because that is where we've said that is where the people are. And some of these functions have already been devolved. With the first schedule, they have been devolved. And we're having this for and back. So where we are, we've had these engagements. We courteously, through leadership, because the CS requested and said, give me by 15th. And by 15th, this will have happened. What you do as a leader is say, okay, benefit of that, let us give that particular time.
Yep.
But now here we could not react before 15th.
Now it's past 15th.
It's past 15th. We are going to react and be able to question then why these delays, yet you've been able to finance the other ministries. So Senate is really supporting devolution, is really supporting counties and really advocating to ensure that the funds get to the counties on time.
Let's take a break on this note, and we'll continue on that same trajectory. You'll tell us. So if he comes next week and he gives you another story and he'll not have disbursed monies, what powers do you have going forward? Senator Tabitha Mutinda Munene is a nominated senator. She is the vice chairperson of the Senate Budget Committee. She also sits on the County Public Accounts Committee of Senate. So she's actually on those two money committees. One looking at the budget and deciding how much money is going to the counties, and then looking at how that money has been spent and asking, come here, governor, hii pesa ilikuja.
Yeah, absorption rate
Imeenda wapi?
only 72%.
Oh yeah. Very, very good, powerful two committees.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Talking about devolution and budgetary allocation to counties and championing that, senators told us they had summoned the CS and the bosses from the National Treasury asking why there was such a delay in disbursement of funds to the counties. 3 months, counties haven't received a shilling. The National Treasury said by 15th, imaneno tangalia. It's the 19th. It hasn't happened. So you've summoned the National Treasury bosses again. If they come next week and still the matter has not been sorted, what powers do you have? Or what recourse do you have?
Let me say that it's at that particular time, depending on his response on the floor, of the committee, then we'll be able to deliberate as a committee, because it's not a personal initiative from me just as a senator, but a collective committee responsibility, because at that time it will depend on what really is the issue. We've been able to pass what we call the MTDS, the medium term strategy, and these are the things that through the National Treasury, these are the things that have been discussed, have been planned as far as the strategy of also the debt repayment. So these are things that if the CS needs to bring it back to Parliament and restructure his rebudgeting, then maybe we can be able to deliberate on that particular narrative, depending on what is the key factor, because we still have between now and next week to see if there's going to be light in this particular matter. Then if not, depending on what brings on table, then we'll be able to analyze and discuss further as a committee. Yeah.
You mentioned that if you look at how it is, the National Treasury or the Ministry of Finance has been able to meet the obligations of government ministries, one then gets the impression that there is money, because in the absence of money, they will not be able to meet these obligations.
Yes.
But then there's the question, okay, having met those obligations, is there not a likelihood that then there is no money? Because the money that was there has met government obligations.
Correct.
And so now there's no more money to meet. But the question I'm really asking is, why must it be that every time there are disbursements to the county, it's a begging mission? Why can it not be something that happens, meaning on a certain date, money is disbursed to the counties?
Yes.
Why is it that that doesn't happen?
It's a very good question, and it's something that also saddens us as senators, because it's like we are begging for what is rightfully ours constitutionally. That the office of the CS National Treasury should prioritize counties. It is not a request. It is there constitutionally, and they decided to focus on the national government, mostly on the functions that have been devolved. And this is something that the National Treasury they've done for quite some time. Where we are as this new regime, it's something that we want to look at this matter long term, on closure of ensuring that the same does not keep repeating. I cannot say that there are no money. There is money. And as you clearly also state, CT, that the other ministries have been able to get their allocations. Payments have been done, okay? Debt repayment, part of it has been settled. Then why not priority to the counties? Like a neglect, what will the governors then do? It puts the governors in a very awkward condition. And in both two committees, we also have an opportunity, especially the CPIC, to summon governors. And from where I sit, you look at what governors are going through, and you wonder if in the next years to come, that seat will have candidates.
Okay.
I'm telling you. For true.
Yeah, it's an interesting wonderment, because it seems as though this problem then is being further compounded. So let's assume that the money actually is there, and let's just live in a utopian space for a moment, whereby all money that's supposed to be allocated to counties has actually been disbursed. Everybody has their money. Now, there's a bill that's being suggested at the National Assembly that would then mean, if it goes through, that any money then that is to be spent at the county level, to be levied at the county level, has to be authorized from the national government, from the Treasury. You basically have to ask permission for levies then to be introduced at the county level. So essentially, you cede control of the very thing that the devolved units are supposed to have authority over in the first place. They're supposed to be able to raise their own revenue, which you've mentioned. There's also supposed to have some independent authority when it comes to making inherent decisions about certain things, levies at the county level being one of them. So let's assume that you've won this battle and that money comes, it's flowing, everybody's happy. You still now have to come back to the national government in form of the Treasury to make some certain decisions. What do you if this bill would go through, which is now being tabled by Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah, what do you think about that?
Okay, I've not seen the bill. I think I'm just hearing what you're actually mentioning, but the bills that we actually undertake, money are not money bills, but are bills touching on the county. And so if it's coming from the National Assembly, then it has to be a money bill. And so it depends on what the PFM Act guides us on, and also on the Constitution as far as the tax issue is concerned, depending, because we also want to maximize tax collection, so as to also maximize our revenue. As at now, the projected revenue for 2023-2024 is about 2.5, and so then, which is actually not enough, looking at the budget and itself, where we are. So if this bill is also going to ensure that the national government is going to collect more with the focus of being able to sustain the budgets that are in place, then why not? Because we want also to maximize revenue collection. Yes, yeah.
Senator, you must have followed conversations in the Senate last year around the budget making time. I remember the standoff that was there of the formula for county allocation of revenue. And it was already emanating from just the division of revenue itself.
Yes.
Senators arguing that, the amount of money that is actually going to the counties is not sufficient to help operate and entrench devolution and make devolution work. And then when we are coming even to talk about the allocation of this revenue, the formula that we are going to use needs to make sure that everybody gets an equitable share of this revenue. So let's go back now into the division of revenue. Right now, according to what the National Treasury has proposed, is 385 billion shillings going to counties against a national budget, an overall national budget of 3.6 trillion shillings. Okay, so that's just about 10% or less of that amount. Of course, we'll look back at the figures before they audited, and it'll be more than 15%, obviously. But let's look at that. So your committee will soon be dealing with the issue of divvying up this 385 billion shillings, if it goes through, amongst the counties. Obviously, county governments have already raised an issue with this.
Yes.
They'd like more than 400 billion shillings.
Yes.
The Commission on Revenue Allocation has already proposed and said, actually give them more than 400 billion shillings. What will you do?
Yes. During this discussion of the DORA bill, we invited different stakeholders, National Treasury being one of them, CRA, they were there, control of the budget was there. There's also the private institutions like International Institute of Certified Accountants of Kenya, International Budget Partnership, Institute of Economic Affairs. And this was basically to get their views from a broader perspective. Yes, National Treasury has guided on 385. CRA has guided on 407. COG has proposed 425 billion. Now, from also where we are coming from 370. So all these figures have an increment. National Treasury is about 15 billion. But now, in our deliberations as a committee, we've been able to look at all those factors, putting in mind the situation, the economic situation of where we are as a country. And as a committee, we actually settled on the report that I tabled last week. We settled for the CRA, which is 407. But you realize it's how we did our own calculation through the guidance of our secretariat, that is the control of budget, the COB. And so we did it from the 370, which is the previous amount, with an inflation of about 8.4%, which gives us 401. And then we added the monies for the medical equipments, which is a 5.86, which gives you 406.86. You round it off, it's equivalent to 407. So we are saying this money that used to go to for medical equipment to be now given as additional allocation
to go directly to the counties,
directly
so
to
they
the
can
counties,
pay directly,
so that they can be able to manage their medical or health sector issue. Okay, and now we've just increased the 8.4. So we felt that this formula that we've been able to use is what is sufficient for the counties. Putting in mind a lot of monies, as I've said earlier, is going to national government, still duplicating the same roles that the county government should be doing. Yes, there's the other point of looking at the advice from National Treasury. Also, putting it in such a way that they're the ones who know where we are and also have who are collecting, and they also are indicating challenges because they've not been able to disperse this last quarter. Then we still come back and ask ourselves, yes, as much as this is what the governors needed, this is what also the CRA had advised, but yes, where are we? The National Treasury is advising on this, but at least because we support county governments, we are given an opportunity for them to be able to get funding that is going to sustain. And as I've explained on the amount for the medical equipment, the 5.86, which is about 6 billion. So this other amount, therefore, actually, like for our side as a committee, is 401 from 370. 401 less 385, you're talking of about another 16. So there's that particular difference of amount. But yes, we agree that Treasury has advised on 385 based on their reason of the formula that they've used, stating that the last audited reports were for 2019, audited and approved were for 2019-2020, because National Assembly has not yet approved for 2020-2021. Yeah. But you still realize the amount was not so high because that is the time we had COVID pandemic, and we had there were challenges at that particular duration of that particular financial year. So as we speak, the discussion is ongoing, and I think today or tomorrow we should be voting on the amount that should now be allocated to the
Division of Revenue.
Division of Revenue to the county government, so that now we can definitely in our committee we deliberate issues as far as the formula is concerned, and also the county allocation, the equalization fund bill. This is also a bill that we separated from Division of Revenue, and we separated because Equalization Fund takes care of the marginalized regions. In the previous regime, there were issues, okay, because politics, it's more of what comes to me. Yes. And who is marginalized? Am I in that share? Am I in that share? And with the where we are with the equalization fund, 54 billion was allocated, but only 26 billion was approved. But as at now, only 12 had been dispersed. So there's an outstanding of about 13 billion that is supposed to be dispersed. That you find still we have recurrent challenges because the projects that had taken place at that particular time are still undergoing the same challenges. One being lack of payment to the suppliers, and so they've not been able to surrender the projects
haven't been handed over, even those that have been completed, and others were just left halfway,
just
without
left
completion.
halfway.
There's something that you mentioned as you were explaining to us how you arrived at your recommendation of about 4 or 7 billion.
Yeah,
and this was looking at the functions that have been devolved. But then let's just dwell on that. How about the Senate pushes for the proper unbundling of the devolved functions? Agriculture, health, have they been fully devolved? To what extent are they fully devolved? To what extent is the national government still handling agriculture and health? If you look at, for example, health, gobbling up about 200 billion shillings at the national level, that is a lot of money.
Correct.
In every year.
Yes.
How about the Senate then pushes for complete, proper devolution of health so that more money goes to devolution to cater for health?
Yeah, and that is what we are advocating for, Senate, and that's why I've stated the monies that were allocated for the medical equipments, we've advised that they should go as additional allocation to the county governments. We've also stated that and noted that national government is taking bigger chunk, not only bigger chunk, but also timely. They are getting their funds more timely, yet these functions are devolved. And I agree when you ask the question of why then don't we unbundle. It's only that at this particular time we are dealing with the two bills, and we are dealing with them quite fast because they also have timelines. Yeah. They should be before 2 months, before the budget is read, before the next financial year, we should be done with them. So you find that there is the time factor, and since we are just new, this is just 7 months down the line, and we had not anticipated to see these delays taking place for us to take the next course and say now we need to unbundle that and to be much more specific on all these devolved functions. But something to note, as I told you, from where I sit, I have an opportunity to sit on committees that I didn't actually realize at first that they interrelate very fast, because we give money here and then I come and ask you, then how have you spent? And we realize that still money is getting lost in the counties. It is getting lost. At this point, we are asking the pending bills for different county governments. Yesterday, we summoned Kakamega County, and you look at the report that they've given and what the auditors have been able to look at. There are figures, I might not mention the actual figures, but there are figures that have not been justified. They cannot be accounted for because there is no payment vouchers that have been submitted, but because they asked for more time, 2 weeks actually, to be able to go and analyze further, because there are so many questions. You look at most of the issues that are coming about is money getting lost through the same counties. So as much as we sit and we are also supporting, we are also acknowledging the fact that as much as monies have been given to the county government, but still monies are getting lost. So we want to look at both sides because there's also a problem.
Well, that's a job that Kenyans have given you as senators. So
yes.
You have to oversight, and at the same time you have to demand accountability.
Correct.
The accountability function comes in.
Yeah.
City.
You know, as you're speaking about the timely manner in which government ministries receive their money, there's this perennial problem, a very painful problem of healthcare workers being paid. Even as you are sorting out this matter of the MES and saying, okay, let this money go to the counties, with the huge amount of money that is retained at the headquarters, would it not make sense if the ministry then paid the health workers directly?
Yes, it would make sense. It is okay, but you see, the function is already devolved.
Yes. But even if it is devolved, you've gotten the heart of the matter. Is it not possible for an arrangement to be arrived at so that money actually gets paid? Will we be breaking the law if the counties agree with the national government and say, when it comes to health, this money, could you pay directly? There's a reason why. There's a discussion every time we talk to healthcare providers. They tell us that one of the things that they have a problem with, especially when it comes to specialization among doctors, is the uneven distribution of these services.
Yeah.
And partly it's because the moment you divvy it up and it's just within the county, other counties will definitely be at a disadvantage, because the employment has to do with people who predominantly come from that county and a small percentage coming from wherever it is they'll come from. Whereas if it is nationalized, that particular component, then you have, should we say, an independent body, which is not a county, determining where the needs
like
are.
Like teachers and police.
Precisely. Thank you very much, Eric.
Yes.
Amepunguza kizungu mingi.
Yes.
Like teachers and police.
Yes. Nakubaliana na wewe.
Yes.
Let me actually put it like that, because health is a very, it's a sensitive docket. It's key. You know, these are not areas to actually joke. We've seen people losing lives because of doctors, nurses, that the health sector when they go on strike. It is not a situation that we want to go back to at any. You'd rather even delay salaries of members of parliament. We'll know how to survive. But for health workers, it is really sad. Let me say so. And as you put it correctly, if there's an agreement. Yes, if there's an agreement, because you see, we are guided by the Constitution.
Yes.
We are all these guidelines are in place. But yes, if an agreement can be put, if through the COG chair health committee and through the health committee, if this is actually brought to
Those
Parliament.
ones have refused to see that point.
Yes.
It will not come from them. The governors, no. How about a bill coming from the Senate?
If
That
they,
creates,
if they,
like
sorry.
the health workers have proposed, Health Services Commission, National Health Services Commission. Maybe, Senator, you can talk to people and draft this bill and present it to the Senate.
let them come. We'll be able to sit. We'll be able to look at what can be done, because the teachers, police, the health sector, these are very key sectors that do not need any delays. They need really 100% support.
They need priority.
They need maximum priority. There is no room for delays in those sectors. I'm not saying that the other sectors are not really important, but the ones that really directly touch on the life, that really depend on. So it's a sector that, for me, from where I sit, I really respect and take it very seriously.
Okay.
And as I say, and I repeat, there are areas that we do not really need to delay. It kills the morale. And you see, the other day we had a statement on the House getting concern on health, on our nurses who want to go abroad and work there, but there are restrictions and delay. And here
we've told them they can't go.
We've told them they can't go.
Work in Kenya, but we
not
can't
fair.
pay you or we can't employ you.
Yes, it's not fair.
Senator,
Yes.
thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
Come again soon. Senator Tabitha Mutinda Munene is the nominated senator by the URP political party.
UDA.
Hey, who did I say URP?
You said URP.
Where did it come from?
Do not worry.
Come from
UDA
woodwork.
political party. It's yellow. The yellow in URP is yellow
It's
in
still-
UDA. It's the yellow color. And you see the yellow here.
Yeah.
And she's also the vice chair of the Senate Budget Committee and a member of the Senate Public Accounts Committee. Keep it here for more conversation.